Shalom, shalom. I'm Sister Monica, and well, we're filming outside because it's a beautiful day, and my cats are very annoying and they're inside. So today I'm going to demonstrate how I make my sea moss. Okay. And let me say this: everybody need a very good blender. Good blender and a good juicer. Okay, you need that because you know, it helps with the processing your food and stuff like that. So, alright, so everybody know what sea moss is. If you don't know what sea moss is, here is a little bit of sea moss that I have. If you look closely, you can see the salt. You can see some of the impurities still on the sea moss there. This is a sea plant that came right out the ocean, so you are going to see some type of still, you know, some impurities on there. If you smell it, it literally smells like the ocean. Yeah. So I had my sea moss soaking, I believe, for about 2 days now, in this. So I'm gonna. Oh, and I have some cinnamon leaves that I have in there soaking. So I'm just gonna throw this in here. Piece of cinnamon leaf. Alright. Making all of that because we're in the middle of a flush and we're going to need all this. Because right now we're doing a liquid fast. So we're going to need all this sea moss here. Okay. So, coconut. I make my own coconut milk. Okay, these are coconuts, and it's very. I'm not going to show you today how I make my coconut milk, but I'm just going to explain slightly. What I do is I take the coconut and I just cut them in small pieces. Here they are, right? And I keep them in the freezer. And what I do is I blend them, and that's how I extract the milk from the coconut. Okay. So I'm using raw coconut milk to make my sea moss. You know, if you don't have access to raw coconut, that's fine. You can use, you know, whatever, almond milk. I mean, I don't suggest dairy because I don't eat dairy. But that's just me. Okay, so what I like to do is I add my coconut milk. Right? That's a lot. And,
well, how much coconut milk are we talking about that you're adding?
Just a cup. I mean, okay. You're going to get at least 3 times the amount because sea moss expand, right? This small amount of sea moss here, which is the same amount that I use in here, you will get at least 3 times the amount right now that you see in here, okay? Because it expands. If you have any respiratory problem, you can add some hot water to your sea moss, okay, and you will get more out of it that way. When you add hot water to your sea moss, it's good for the respiratory system. I didn't add any hot water. I just what I did was I wash the salt. You have to wash the salt off. This thing is filled with salt. So you got to wash the salt, wash it as many times as you possibly can, get the salt out of it, and then you soak it. You can soak it in just some room temperature water and leave it outside, just in the kitchen counter, for overnight, and you'll see that it begins to expand. Just make sure you get as much salt out of it as you possibly can. I don't add any sweetener to my sea moss. What I do is I use banana. And I make sure that I get my banana very ripe. Like the more ripe the banana is, the sweeter they are. So this is what I use to sweeten my my sea moss. You just need some fruits. Get some really ripe fruits that is naturally sweet, and that's all you need in your sea moss.
Right. Some people use apples.
Right. You can use whatever you get your hands on. It's all about your taste bud. When I make this, it's gonna look like a smoothie. It's gonna taste like a smoothie, but to me, it tastes better with some bananas and some mangoes. I'm not gonna use any mango. I'm just gonna use a banana today. Also, what I'm gonna be using is, what I did was I soaked. This is cinnamon leaves here. I have a whole lot of this stuff. So this is cinnamon leaf, and what I did was I soaked the cinnamon leaf in the sea moss as well. While I was soaking the sea moss, I soaked with the leaves. As you can see, I had the cinnamon leaves in there.
Where's those cinnamon leaves from, if you don't mind me asking? Where'd you get them?
I get these straight from Jamaica. My sister sent a whole lot of this stuff to me. I have another big bag of cinnamon leaves inside, so I have access to these things. My family sent me. I have some cinnamon powder here that I'm going to use just a little bit of it in the sea moss as well, and I'm going to explain to you later on why I use cinnamon and nutmeg in my sea moss. These are nutmegs. These are all nutmeg, and these nutmeg, I actually got these from Grenada. I actually picked these nutmeg myself, and I'm going to be using one of these in my sea moss today. And I'm going to explain to you in a minute why I use cinnamon and nutmeg, and these are all spices, and they're really good for you. So anyway, back to the banana. So what I do is I put some banana, just break them up and put them in there. Like I said, I prefer my banana to be really, really ripe. Like, it should have these freckles. You see those freckles? They're really ripe and they're sweet. And all you need is just the natural sugar from your fruit to sweeten your sea moss. You don't need any sugar. Okay. So, I'll take just a little bit of cinnamon. And what I do, you see I have my nutmeg here, and I have my little grater. And what I do is I just grate. Later on I'll add some more in there, but just for demonstration purpose, that's pretty much what I do with the sea moss. Some nutmeg, some cinnamon, some fruits, some coconut milk, and I'm just going to go ahead and blend. This is a lot. Yeah. So, I'm going to have my husband taste some of that. It might need another banana. But I can taste the nutmeg, the cinnamon, and the coconut milk. And that's, tastes really good. Why do you need sea moss? Alright. I'm going to explain to you guys why you need sea moss. I'm going to explain to you the benefits of sea moss and why we should use it. Okay? Sea moss is good for the mucous membrane. Okay? If you have inflammation, mucus, phlegm, congestion, coughing, bronchitis, pneumonia, tuberculosis, sea moss is very good for that, especially when you, like I said earlier, when you add warm water to it. I'm sure you guys have heard this a million times. Sea moss contains over 90 minerals, okay, including calcium. I've heard a lot of people ask, well, where am I going to get my calcium? I need, when you tell people that, you don't have to drink dairy. Well, you don't really need dairy to get your calcium. Sea moss has a lot of calcium, so you can get your calcium from your dairy. Sea moss has antiviral properties, okay, which it helps your body to get rid of infections and symptoms of the flu. One of the good things about sea moss, it helps with the thyroid gland. I know a lot of people suffering from thyroid issues. That sea moss contains a lot of iodine, and that's what is used to treat the thyroid. Here's another thing. If you have a child, if you're a mother and you have a child and you're unable to, if you're a mother and you have a young baby and you are unable to breastfeed your baby for maybe some type of medical reason, sea moss is the most natural alternative for breast milk. Okay, your baby can have sea moss. So, and also, even if you are able to breastfeed, you should be drinking sea moss. Your baby should be getting this through your breast milk. Okay, because this is one of the purest herb, the most natural plant that you can have, and it's like a milk. When you make it, it's like a breast milk. It's just like breast milk for your baby. So you should be giving that to your baby, or if you're breastfeeding, you should be drinking sea moss. Also, sea moss, like I said, it has a lot of nutrients in there and mineral. It has a lot of potassium. So if you have a child with ADHD, you should be giving this to your child, because it helps to improve their behavior. Also, if you have an elder with fibromyalgia, I always wonder what that was. That's a different story. Fibromyalgia, all these diseases, But the good thing about sea moss is it helps with cognitive function. Okay, so if you have a child who is busybody and always running all over the place, sea moss is good to calm them down. It's also good for removing a lot of heavy metal from your body. Okay, and sea moss is very good for your skin. If you have eczema, psoriasis, any type of skin issues, you should be drinking eczema. And another thing that sea moss is good for, like I said earlier, the mucous membrane. If you're suffering from joint pain, you should be drinking sea moss. Okay. And one thing that I like to tell the female: if you suffer from vaginal dryness, sea moss. Okay. Again, the mucous membrane. Your reproductive system, is connected to your mucous membrane. If you are somebody who is suffering from vaginal dryness, sea moss is excellent for that. Not to put on there topically, you need to be drinking it on a regular basis, and you'll see a difference in that area. And also for the men. Listen, when I was growing up in Jamaica, this right here was a special drink for the men. Okay, it's, when you hear a man back home in my country talk about sea moss, the next thing they talk about is getting themselves a girl or a woman, Apparently the two go hand in hand. Brothers back home drink this for
Them says stamina.
Stamina.
Them says stamina.
They drink this for stamina. Now, I'm not a man, so I don't know how men feel when they drink it, but I back home, my brothers, my uncles, everybody that I know, every man that I know that drinks sea moss, it's all about the stamina, okay? So, brothers, you might want to try this out, because I've heard that it works for the brothers, I also use sea moss in my hair, believe it or not. Ladies, it's a great moisturizer for your hair, okay? When you soak it, or when you add some warm water to it, and you get it literally get like a gel, right? And it's a moisturizing gel for your hair. I use that in my hair as well. So that's it with the sea moss. I'm not going to drag this out. Okay, so nutmeg. Why do I use nutmeg? Alright, we know that sea moss is an antiviral herb, right? And so is nutmeg. Nutmeg has antiviral properties. It relieves pain, it helps with digestion. It detoxifies the body, just like sea moss, okay? And it also helps you with insomnia. If you have problems sleeping, you should be ingesting a lot of nutmeg. Not at the same time, you can't take too much nutmeg at once. You gotta be careful with nutmeg because it can become very toxic in your body. Just a small amount every day is fine. It helps to keep the immune system strong, and the most important thing about nutmeg is that it helps with blood circulation. Okay, I'm going to explain something about blood circulation in a minute. Also, for patient with dementia, if you have an elderly person with dementia, Alzheimer's, this also helps with brain function as well, cognitive function. Nutmeg has a lot of magnesium, B6, and copper, and other minerals, right? Okay, this is very important. Your liver and your kidney. That's where most of the toxin in your body is stored, right? Your liver processes toxin in your body, okay? This is why it's important for you to be ingesting nutmeg, because what happened is this goes into those organs and it removes the toxins out of it, okay? Because this is an antiviral, it's not an herb, it's a spice. This is an antiviral spice. So you should be ingesting nutmeg to remove the toxin from your body. You see, this is why I take it with the sea moss, because the sea moss does the same thing. Cinnamon, all right? You see why I have all this cinnamon here? There's a reason I have it. There's a reason I have everything that I have. I don't just drink stuff and eat stuff just because. There's a reason. All these things have medicinal properties, and that's why I take them. Okay? Cinnamon is also considered an antiviral herb or spice, or whatever you call it. It's herb or spice, same thing. The bark and the leaves are used to treat viral infection, respiratory infection, just like the nutmeg and just like the sea moss. It's good if you have cough, cold, allergies. This is very good for allergies. I used to take this back when I had and this is, we'll talk about, that's another video, we'll talk about that. But if you have allergies, this is cinnamon. You guys have been sleeping on cinnamon. Hay fever. This is also good for gas. If you have irritable bowel syndrome, cinnamon is good for that as well. And it also helps with diabetes, helps to lower your diabetes. Now, I have upstairs, I forgot to bring it down, you can use this cinnamon powder, or if you have cinnamon oil, right, and also the nutmeg, if you grate it, just like I just did, or the oil, and clove oil. If you mix those with some coconut oil and some olive oil, if you suffer from arthritis pain, any type of joint pain, you mix those together and you apply to the area multiple times a day, you will see that the pain will go away. The best thing to do is to ingest these things. You see what I mean? But sometimes you have to attack the pain from the outside. So what I do is, not only do I ingest, well, I don't get pain anymore. I used to have a back pain and I don't get it anymore. And that's because I take a lot of these things. If you're suffering from pain, you can apply these things topically on your skin, and you should be ingesting this as well. Okay? And as my grandmother always say, if it doesn't kill you, what happened, Dan? If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. These things are natural. You should be eating these things. You should be drinking them. They're very healthy for you. Right? Okay. We're going to talk a little bit about circulation, because all three of these ingredients, the cinnamon, the nutmeg, and your sea moss, is good for circulation in your body. Why is circulation so important? Okay. When your blood is stagnant inside your body, your blood is supposed to always be moving. Okay? Your blood should always be flowing through your body. If your blood is not flowing properly, you're having what is called stagnation. What's the word stagnant? What does that mean? It means that your blood is pretty much standing still, or it's not moving as it should, right? And that's a problem. Because when your blood is not moving, it means that there's something blocking it. There's something stopping it from moving. And if there's something there that's stopping your blood from moving, there is a big problem. Because what happened is, your blood is what transport oxygen throughout your body. So a lot of people are walking around having issues with not enough oxygen in their brain, not enough oxygen throughout their body, because their blood is very stagnant. In order to get your blood moving in your body, these things here, cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger. I have a lot of ginger inside the house. But these things are very good for circulation. And circulation, when I talk about circulation, it means to get the blood flowing in your body. It's very important to have your blood flowing the way that it should. Because when your blood is not flowing, it means that something is stopping it from flowing. Right? These things are good to remove the toxin. Let's talk about toxins. What happens when you have a lot of toxin sitting in your stomach, right? Because your liver is not able to process those toxins. Unfortunately, your liver can only do so much. This is why you need flushes, right? Because your liver is only able to do so much. And when the liver is unable to process and eliminate the toxin in your body, those toxin doesn't just disappear. No, they go somewhere else and they sit there and they start to grow. And next thing you know, you have a growth somewhere inside your stomach. And this is why a lot of women have PCOS, some type of cysts growing inside their ovaries, some type of growth, okay? And what happened when you have PCOS? There's a lot of bleeding, there's a lot of, pain, a lot of irregular menstrual cycle and stuff like that. And that's because, number one, you're not flushing properly. You're not taking these things to get your blood flowing, to remove the toxins from your body, to, flush out the liver, clean the liver up. So the liver is toxic, and you have the toxic sitting in your stomach, and that's how, when things are not moving, you have growth. It's no different than, if this was a hose, right? And the water is supposed to come through the hose. Now, if one end of the hose is blocked up, what's going to happen? So if you have, let's pretend this is a water hose, right? If you have a water hose and the water is supposed to be flowing out, right? What happens if you have something blocking the water right here, right? The water is going to flow back, right? And if it can't flow back, it's going to start to expand, right? It's going to something is going to happen. If it's not able to go this way freely, something is going to happen. And so that's what happened in your body. When things are not flowing properly, right, because there's a stagnation, there's something building up, all that feces and all that, build up, all that, those toxins, it just goes right back into your body, and that's where you have a lot of illnesses. So I cannot stress enough how important it is for you to take these natural herbs and spices. Ginger. I don't have the ginger with me out here, but ginger is extremely important for circulation in your body. Okay? If you are a woman, you should be ingesting lots of ginger. Okay? If you have a uterus, okay, whether you are of childbearing age or not, it doesn't matter. Okay, because this is how a lot of women, even in their, if you're in menopausal if you're getting menopause, you should be ingesting a lot of ginger, because it eliminates a lot of the menopausal symptoms. Okay, a lot of these things you should be taking as well if you're going through a menopause. So these things are very important, guys, especially it doesn't even matter whether you're a man or a woman. Men as well. These things are good for the heart as well. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. You should be ingesting these herbs and spices for your heart, because you need circulation to your heart. And also for you brothers, why circulation is important for you, because if you don't have good circulation, brothers as well, it's very important for brothers to be taking these spices as well and these herbs, because it's good for circulation. I know I keep saying the circulation word, but it's very important. A lot of brothers, suffer from erectile dysfunction, and circulation is extremely important to prevent that. Blood flow. The blood needs to be flowing properly. So brothers, you should be ingesting these things as well, taking these spices and these herbs as well for circulation in your body. You need to. Impotence. Sea moss is good for that. It builds the sperm count. Sea moss does that. Build up the sperm. Okay? Sea moss is good, as I said earlier, for you ladies. It give you some moisture down there. These things are very important, guys. You need to be taking these things. So with that, I'm going to say shalom, and we'll see you. If you happen to be on Facebook, we do have a group called the Healthy Hebrew Group. I suggest you join the group. I have a lot of these things that I post. I give a lot of information about a lot of different herbs and spices. So, if you want to learn about herbs and spices and different things, just join the group and, check us out. All right? Shalom.